To understand why people are on welfare or homeless, you have to understand the legal system. Simply put, we don't have one. In order to make a just decision, one needs to hear all evidence. Our court systems are designed not to receive evidence needed to make a just decision. It is perfectly legal in Canada to go into our court systems without notifying the other party. This is a very common practice and was done to me many, many times. That is how a deadbeat can gain child support orders when no child actually lives with him. If nobody is there to present evidence, then you can say whatever you want to, and you can't correct it after it's done. Legal aid is underfunded, and judges refuse to hear a case if not represented by a lawyer. Legal aid told me point blank that they don't have the funds to represent me, but they paid them enough to fool the courts that I was represented. However, if a lawyer is not being paid to do a job, they don't read your files, they don't offer evidence to court, which explains why I've been ordered to pay child support instead of collecting it. After making many complaints, my ex-husband kept going to court without serving me, so I walked into the Calgary police station and had the following conversation. Would I be breaking any laws if I went to court without serving the other party? Then I lied about where my children live and when, and I lied about my income. The police officer told me it was completely illegal for me to do that. It was obstruction of justice, perjury, and fraud. So I said, great, I'd like to report a crime. I was then told by the Calgary police that I can't just walk into the police station and report a crime. I had to make a phone call, something I've been doing for years with no response. I went outside the police station, had myself a little cry, when two officers kindly came out and berated me, telling me, look at yourself. Nobody's going to believe a word you had to say. On another occasion when I needed the police, I was berated again and treated less than human, as they complained that I was taking them away from real crime. I then went to the prosecutor's office and explained the crimes to them, and they told me this was a victimless crime. So the next time you see someone homeless or on welfare, trust there's a crime being committed, which our legal system thinks there are no victims of any crime. That would drive anybody to drinking or doing drugs. It is total insanity to believe the system when that system is there to protect criminals. How can anyone feel safe in this world if police refuse to help you, prosecutors refuse to prosecute, and judges refuse to judge? Now, it is also my experience that deadbeats are highly paid and can afford the best attorneys. In my case, my ex-husband's employer, a $1 million company, Global Safety, actually financed his legal expenses, and under oath he testified that his employer didn't like paying his support, so he's doing everything in his power to help him out. His income was a lie. He owned a home worth more than $300,000, which his employer said it was put in his name by mistake, and they paid his legal fees, which was also a nice little bonus that was never reported to Revenue Canada as part of his income. Revenue Canada was given evidence for the past 8 years of my ex-husband's true income, yet they refused to investigate. I later found out that they have this cost-effective rule. If it costs more money to investigate than it does in the fee that they actually owe, they don't bother. So in Canada, you don't really have to pay your income tax, you just have to make it cost more to investigate than the dollar amount you owe. I then went political and was told by a member of Parliament that my colleagues are less than honourable, and if we start telling Revenue Canada how to do a job, that only means that they will audit them for making the complaint, and no member of Parliament wants to be audited or their crimes would be exposed. That came from a federal MP representing North Bay, Ontario. We have more than an estimated $32 billion debt in uncollected child support, yet that problem is never discussed during elections. I tried getting the media to look at my story, and they told me this is so common it's not news. That's a $32 billion debt is being financed through the welfare system. It's impossible to raise children on minimum wage while dealing with abuse. You can't take off work to fight constant legal battles or you're fired. Mental health we have in Canada only offered me the advice to prioritize my life. The courts demanded that I put them as my top priority or my wages could be garnished with a deadbeat constantly going to court without serving me and presenting fraudulent information. I went to school taking programming because my children needed food and shelter, so work was a priority. My children were experiencing a great deal of abuse throughout this entire process, so they too were my top priority. So I had work, court, and children as a top priority, and all of them required 24/7 attention at the same time. Smart as I am, feeling I can do this, eventually caused me to develop physical and emotional challenges that landed me on welfare. One person just can't do everything, and our government systems keep thinking it's all possible. Now, once you're on the system, all I've heard is how I'm not capable of accomplishing anything. I've been stigmatized into believing I'm the social problem. Scientifically, it is proven that we turn into what others tell us. If someone tells you 24/7 you're stupid, then all your actions will appear pretty darn stupid. There's nothing within this social services that says I have skills, that I have potential. So if I don't have it, then how in the world can I believe in myself to actually accomplish a job? Especially knowing I can't fight the system, which has proven over my past 9 years of experience. I can graduate from a programming course with 89% with only a grade 9 education, and I did so while having 3 major top priorities. So by no means do I think I'm stupid. I've concluded without doubt the system is designed for me to fail, and I can't fight the system. Now, as our economy crashes, and it will if we have a $32 billion debt that we refuse to recognize, soon others will learn that our system is completely corrupt, addictions will increase, mental illness will increase, and the stress will cause further physical problems, which the pharmaceutical corporate world greatly profits from. I do take huge issue with organizations claiming to want to solve this problem. There are millions of us, and these organizations are fully aware of the reality. They do have the means to take court action in the form of class action suits, but they refuse to do so. They have not helped me at all. They are not telling me the truth. Nobody told me I had no chance in our court systems. I was told I had rights, yet no rights seem to exist. I was told I would be safe, yet I'm not safe. I was told the abuse would end if I leave, and nobody told me if you leave an abusive person, they don't exactly like it, and the abuse actually increases, and they go through the children to do so. While having these experiences, we must recognize that children are observing and learning from these experiences. They learn crime does pay, so we are actually teaching our children how to be criminals. Because children are living in poverty, experiencing abuse, they are stigmatized into believing they have nothing to offer society, so they have no idea how to be anything different. The abuse our children are forced to live with is an outrage, yet nobody appears to want to put an end to it. There are solutions. There is a way to end this insanity, but a system has to want it first. I am explaining the problems, but I fully intend to explain the solutions as well on YouTube. I would prefer to focus on the solutions and collect a paycheck instead of a welfare check, but nobody is offering me that job yet.